intermediate level, ok? Just this quick explanation. O objetivo da aula de hoje, tonight's class objective goal is to learn about actions completed in the past, okay? Ações concluídas no passado. And also usar verbos no pretérito perfeito, okay? How we can use verbs in this past tense. Entender quando algo aconteceu, to understand when something happened. Comparar experiências passadas, to compare past experiences. And also conversar sobre o fim de semana, to talk about our weekend, what we do on our weekends. O que é pretérito perfeito, ok? Usamos o pretérito perfeito para falar de ações concluídas no passado, algo que já terminou. So we use the pretérito perfeito, simple past, to talk about actions that were completed in the past when something has already happened, being concluded. Does that make sense? Algo que já terminou.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah, something that has already ended. Yes. Comparação com o inglês. Let me show you an example. Em inglês, I worked yesterday. Português, eu trabalhei ontem. So here our English version of the simple past. I worked yesterday. In Portuguese, eu trabalhei ontem. So very simple to understand. Okay, simple past, as the name suggests, é simples, passado simples, na sua forma simples. Okay? So let's see the next page. Here, guys, verbos no passado. Verbos no passado. This here are our list of the most common verbs in Portuguese: falar, comer, estudar, trabalhar. We have seen these verbs several times because they are the kinds of verbs that we use the most in our daily lives. Okay, falar, comer, estudar, trabalhar. And here, guys, just remembering you, we have two, in this list here, we have two different types of verbs. The ones that finish with the first type of conjugation, AR, and the second type, ER. So, falar, comer, estudar e trabalhar. All of these verbs here belongs to verbos regulares. Do you guys still remember what does it mean, verbos regulares? Question? You guys still remember what those verbs are? Verbos regulares?
So,
So, verbos regulares are those ones that follow a pattern. Okay, so whenever you will conjugate these verbs, for example, verbs that finish with the first type of conjugation, ah, when you conjugate these verbs, when they are regular, of course, they will follow patterns, as we are about to see in the next page. Okay, same thing here, comer, the ones that finish with the second type, ER, they also follow patterns. Those patterns doesn't happen when the verb are irregulars, because they are irregulars, they don't follow the rules. They have their own variations when we are conjugating them. The most common irregular verbs that we have in our daily lives can be found here on this list: ir, ter, estar, fazer, ver. And of course we have several others These here are one of them, the most popular ones. Okay, we will not have time to see all of them, so I had to choose uh, 5 of them, of the most popular ones. Ok? Ir, ter, estar, fazer e ver. So how do these verbs behave when we are conjugating them in the past tense? So here, starting with the regular ones, falar. Okay, falar in the past tense, I spoke. Okay, eu falei. This is the variation. Eu falei. Eu falei. Of course, here we are considering the first pronoun, eu, I. Okay, all of these variations here in the past tense is being conjugated using the pronoun I, which means eu. Okay, eu falei, eu comi, eu estudei, eu trabalhei. You see here, guys, the pattern that we are following: estudar, estudei, trabalhar, trabalhei. See? Trabalhei. Falar, falei. All of these verbs here, these variations, when we are using eu, I, our verb finish with the suffix e, 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 e. And this is the pattern that I was just talking about. Regular verbs follow pattern when we are conjugating them. Falei, estudei, trabalhei. This doesn't happen with the irregular ones. They have their own variations. Eu fui, eu tive, eu estive, eu fiz, eu vi. Okay? So this is basically what happens. Keep this in mind.
Professor.
Sorry?
Yes, that comment, is it because it ends with ER? That's why it's
Yes.
only I.
Yeah. This here belongs to the second type of conjugation, comer. And the variation of the second type will be different from the first one. So when we are conjugating using the pronoun eu, which means I, this will be the variation, okay? Just a letter I or E. Eu comi. Okay, eu comi. We will see other examples of verbs that end with the second type, and you will see if they are regular ones, of course, they will have this same variation here. Okay? Eu comi, eu escrevi, escrevi, for example, escrevi, escrevi. Escrevi belongs to the verb escrever. See? Escrever. Sorry. Escrever. Escrever means to write. Okay? When you are writing something. Write. To write. Escrever. And you can see here it ends with the second type as well. E-R. And the variation will be escrevi. Eu escrevi. I wrote. Okay? Eu escrevi. Letter I right here. So here, if the verb is regular and ends with the second type, we'll have this variation here. Okay? Irregular ones
Okay.
they don't follow patterns. Okay? So this will be a little tricky for you guys because you will have to memorize them. It will be a lot harder since they have their own variations. There's no place to go. You will have to memorize them. Eu fui, eu tive, eu estive, eu fiz, eu vi. Ir, to go. Ter, to have. Estar, to be. Fazer, to do. Ver, to see. Here, falar, to speak.
Okay.
Comer, to eat. Estudar, to study. Trabalhar, to work. Okay?
Okay. So, Professor, so the fazer, ver, are they past tense to the fui, tive, estive, fiz, and be?
Yeah, this
Are they
one
past
here,
tense or present tense?
this
Steve.
Yeah, all of this here, this variation, vi, fiz, estive, tive, fui, they are past for this verb. Of course, using
Okay.
the
Okay.
pronoun eu, okay? Eu.
Went.
We are using eu as an example. Eu fui, eu
Okay.
tive, eu estive, eu fiz, eu
Okay.
vi, okay? All of them past tense. I went,
Okay.
I was, yeah, I was, fazer. No, here ter.
Feed. I
Yeah,
did.
I had, right?
Okay. I had.
I had. Ter, which means to have, past
Yes,
tense.
had.
I had. Sorry. Estar.
Yeah.
I was. I was at
Yes,
some place.
to be. To be,
Yeah,
yes.
to be. Fazer, to do. I
Did.
did.
I did.
Yeah, and remember, in Portuguese, fazer, it is a verb that in English, you guys have two variations, to do and to make. Whenever you guys
Okay.
want to use these two verbs, in Portuguese we only have one for the two of them. If you guys say I make my own hour, eu faço in Portuguese, or I did my homework, eu fiz meu dever de casa. These two verbs have only one in Portuguese, which is fazer. Fazer means to do and to make. And we have ver, which is to see, okay? So eu vi, I saw. I saw an
Also.
airplane.
Okay.
Eu vi
Mm-hmm.
avião, okay? Alright, so here guys I brought you some other examples. The first one here, let me just write this down. All of these verbs here, these three ones, ends with AR, okay? First type. Primeiro tipo de conjugação. This one here, finish with AR. All of them, of course, which since tonight's class it's about simple past, pretérito perfeito, passado. All of these conjugations here, they are in the past tense. Keep this in mind, alright? So here, AR. Here, these three down here, they belong to the second type, which is ER. Okay? So don't get confused. First one here, guys. AR. All of these verbs, they are regular ones, so they follow pattern. As you can see here, eu falei, I spoke, eu estudei, see? Ei, 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 ei. Eu falei, eu estudei, estudei. I studied. And also, eu trabalhei, eu trabalhei. Eu trabalhei, I worked, I worked. And in case you guys are wondering, this first verb here, falar, okay, falar, to speak. The second one, estudar, to study. And the third one, trabalhar, to work. Do I need to write this down, or are you guys good? Can you guys reckon?
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay?
You can continue.
We'll
Okay.
screenshot it.
Okay, very good. So, eu falei, eu estudei, eu trabalhei. You can see here the pattern is being, it is seen in this suffix, e. Eu falei, eu estudei, eu trabalhei. Second, tu falaste, te. Tu estudaste, te. Tu trabalhaste, te. And then, falou, estudou, trabalhou. See, it even rhymes because they all of them have the same suffix, o mesmo sufixo. Nós falamos, nós estudamos, nós trabalhamos. Vós falastes, vós estudastes, vós trabalhastes. Eles falaram, eles estudaram, eles trabalharam. So let's read at least the first one here. all of you guys, let's practice. We only have to practice one, so you guys get the grip on the pronunciation of the suffix. So let's read this together. Eu falei,
Eu falei,
tu falaste,
tu falaste,
ele falou,
ele falou,
nós falamos.
nós falamos,
Yes, nós falamos. Vós falastes,
nós falastes,
eles falaram.
eles falaram.
Yeah, and just remembering, you guys, usually, grammarly speaking, the correct pronoun that it is the equivalent of you in the singular, of course. If I'm talking directly to you, you, as one person, not in plural, of course. The correct grammar pronoun, it is tu. Okay, tu, it is equivalent of you in the correct grammar. Tu falaste means you spoke. You spoke. As you guys know already, in Brazil, lots of people tend to use this pronoun você. Okay, você. Você, as you can see here, it is not listed in any of this pronoun because it is not a actual pronoun. It is an expression that throughout the time became part of the Brazilian vocabulary. So now all of us speak this pronoun, but in the usual, in the actual grammar, it is not here. So you guys may be confused. How do I conjugate the verb using this pronoun você if I opt to use this pronoun? Always remember, você use the variation of the third person of singular, which is ele. So all of the variations of the verb in ele, it is the variation that you guys will use if you choose to say você. Okay? So você falou, você estudou, você trabalhou. You will never use, even though você it is equivalent to tu, you cannot use this variation that belongs to tu. It will be incorrect. You cannot say você falaste, você estudaste, você trabalhaste. It is incorrect. Okay? Always, always, always use the variation that belongs to the third person of singular. Ele. Okay? Você falou, você estudou, você trabalhou. Você comeu, você bebeu, você vendeu. Everybody understood this? Are you guys good on this?
Yes, yes. But Professor, if I want to say, if I'm saying, I want all present tense, you what? Is it fala
Falas.
or falo?
Sorry. Você.
Like I'm talking about present tense. I'm
Uh,
speaking.
I'm speaking. Sorry. One at a time, please. What was the question?
What I'm saying that the present tense of speak.
Of speak. Falar.
Yes.
The present tense.
Okay. Yes, the present tense.
The present tense, we were discussing the present tense in the previous class. In case you forget, present tense it is eu falo, okay? Eu falo, tu falas,
Okay.
ele
Okay.
fala.
Okay.
So ele fala. If you are going to use você, você fala, okay? Present tense, você fala. Okay, você fala. This is the present tense. Past tense, você falou. Alright? Always remember, I'm going to write this down. Você usa a variação que pertence a ele. Okay? A ele. And also going to highlight this in red. Design fundos. How do I do this? Okay, forma. Right here. Yeah. So now it is very visible. Você usa a variação que pertence a ele. So, você falou, você estudou, você trabalhou. Alright. Here, guys, we have 3 examples of verbs that end with the second type. Let me just fix this. Segundo tipo de conjugação. The verbs that finish with ER. So here, guys, we have comer. Comer, as you can see, comer ends with ER. Comer means to eat. Second here, beber. Okay, beber, to drink. And then vender. Vender, to sell. So you're selling bread. Vender. Eu estou vendendo pão. Okay? So all of these verbs here, they are also regular. They also follow patterns, as you can see. Here, past tense of comer. Eu comi. We have this letter I at the end. Eu comi. And then eu bebi. Also the letter I. Eu vendi. Letter I as well. Then tu comeste, tu bebeste, tu vendeste. Ele comeu, ele bebeu, ele vendeu. Nós comemos, nós bebemos, nós vendemos. Vós comestes, vós bebestes, vós vendestes. Eles comeram, eles beberam, eles venderam. Now here, guys, quick question to see if you guys are paying attention. I just explained to you guys that this pronoun você, which is you singular version of you, remember this? Você usa a variação que pertence ao pronome ele. So você uses the variation that belongs to the pronoun ele. Okay, ele. What about vocês? Vocês. Which variation do I use to this pronoun vocês? Vocês what?
It should be eles.
Yes. So here singular to você, singular. The logic, it is that I will use eles, which is plural of ele, to vocês, right? So vocês falaram, vocês estudaram. Why am I telling you this? Because voice, it is the grammar way, the correct way of saying you in plural. But you guys may have already noticed that Brazilians don't use this voice when we want to say you in plural. This sounds too formal, and I mean too formal, very medieval, as to say. It is like you are reading Shakespeare, because it sounds too old and too formal. We will not use voice in any context, actually. Nowadays, in modern days, we don't use voice. This is something that we only see in books, okay? In books. So it is a consensus, an overall consensus. 100% of Brazilians will say vocês instead of voice. So now it is mandatory for you guys to learn the proper conjugation that belongs to vocês, alright? So vocês will always use the variation that belongs to eles, okay? Eles. Vocês falaram, vocês estudaram, vocês trabalharam, vocês comeram, vocês beberam, vocês venderam. Alright? So let me just write this down as well, so you guys don't forget. Usa a variação que pertence a eles. Okay? Very good. So as always, let's practice this together. Okay, everybody turn on your mics. Let's read the first one here, so you guys memorize this. Eu comi. Eu comi.
Eu comi.
Yes, tu comeste.
Tu comeste.
Tu comeste.
Tu comeste.
Ele comeu.
Ele comeu.
Nós comemos.
Nós comemos.
Vós comestes.
Nós comestes.
Eles comeram.
Eles comeram.
Yes. And now, guys, another tip for you. I believe I have already told you this. Okay. Você, singular, sounds more polite if you are talking to an unknown person you doesn't know. Just met this person on the street for the first time. You will rather use você. Sounds more polite. Tu will only sound polite if you conjugate the verb properly. Okay? If you conjugate as it is here, tu falaste, tu estudaste, tu trabalhaste, this will sound very, very polite. And you can only use tu for, this unknown person if you conjugate the verb properly. Why am I saying this? Because Brazilians, in their daily lives, when they use this pronoun tu, they tend to conjugate the verb incorrectly. And this is what sounds bad, okay? If I found a person, se eu encontrar uma pessoa desconhecida na rua e conjugar o verbo errado, vai soar muito invasivo, muito rude. What does this mean? I was saying, if I meet a stranger on the street and I use this pronoun tu, but conjugating the verb incorrectly, it will sound very intrusive and rude. Okay, very rude. It will sound very bad. And lots of Brazilians, when they use this tu, they conjugate the verb incorrectly. And that is why it sounds rude. How do they do this? Let me show you some examples. The correct way, for example, here, it is tu falaste. Tu falaste. This is the correct way. Brazilians, when they use this tu, they don't know how to conjugate verbs. They're really bad at grammar. They are really bad in Portuguese grammar. So they say in this way, tu falou. Tu falou. You can pay attention to Brazilians when they are using tu. They conjugate using the variation that belongs to the third person of the singular. Tu falou, tu estudou, tu estudou, tu estudou. So if you speak in this way to a person that you don't know, you will sound rude. You will sound impolite. Okay, so don't do this. Only speak in this way if you are talking to a friend, a person you know. If you talk, for example, in this way to your teacher at the university, you will sound very polite, like a person that has no education at all. Tu falou, tu estudou. This here, very bad, very bad. But the majority of people, 90% of Brazilians will conjugate the verb using tu in this way because they don't know how to conjugate verbs properly. As I keep telling you this, even though we speak Portuguese fluently, it is our mother language, we are very bad at grammar. Portuguese, it is the number one subject that people struggle in school. They think it's boring, so they lack interest in learning their own language. That is why they suck at grammar. They really had bad grades when it comes to Portuguese. Okay, so if you're doing this way, sounds bad. Okay, it is way better if you choose você to talk to an unknown person. Você falou, você estudou. You only use tu if you conjugate properly. Don't say tu falou. Conjugate the verb correctly. Tu falaste, tu estudaste, tu trabalhaste. If you do it in this way, you will sound very good, beautiful. Okay, you will sound very beautiful, like a poet. Okay, you will sound very, very, very good. Okay, tu falaste, tu estudaste, tu trabalhaste. People that speak in this way, they call too much attention. People will look at you. Wow, you really know how to conjugate verbs. You are a very educated person. That is the difference between tu falou and tu falaste. If you say it this way, you will how do we say? Você vai impressionar as pessoas. Impressionar is like to impress people. People will feel amazed by the way you are speaking. Okay, so keep this in mind. Learn to conjugate the verbs correctly. Okay, so let's see the next page. Here, guys, okay, let me just copy this. This is the third type of conjugations, okay, of verbs. Verbs that end with IR, okay, terceiro tipo de conjugação. So here, all of these verbs here, they are also regular ones, so they also follow patterns. As you can see, eu abri, eu assisti, eu dividi, tu abriste, tu assististe, tu dividiste, ele abriu, ele assistiu, ele dividiu. Nós abrimos, nós assistimos, nós dividimos. Vós abristes, vós assististes, vós dividistes. E eles abriram, eles assistiram, eles dividiram. In case you guys are wondering, this here, it is the verb abrir, which means to open, okay? So, eu abri, I opened. Here, eu assisti, it is the verb assistir, which means to watch, okay? Eu assisti, I watched. Eu assisti filme, I watched a movie. Here, guys, eu dividi, it is dividir, which means to share. So, eu dividi o meu almoço. I shared my lunch. Eu dividi. Okay, to split, to share. To split as well. So you imagine you have a bread and you split in two different halves. In Portuguese, it is also dividir, okay? Eu dividi o pão em dois pedaços, em duas fatias. Alright? Are you guys there? Are you guys good?
Yeah, Professor, continue.
Okay, so let's read this together. Here, guys, abrir, to open. ok? Eu abri,
Abrir.
eu
Eu, ab-
abri,
eu abri. Opa.
tu abriste.
Tu abriste.
Yes, you opened. Ele abriu.
Ele abriu.
Yes, nós abrimos.
Nós abrimos.
Very good. Vós abristes.
Vós abristes.
Yes. Eles abriram.
Eles abriram.
Very good. So here, as you can see, it follows the same pattern. All of these are regular verbs. And here, guys, I brought you two examples of irregular ones. Okay? And these two verbs here, they are irregulars. Let me just fix this title here. Verbos. Sorry, verbos irregulares. Irregulares. And as you can see here, they don't follow a pattern. Right? Verbos irregulares. This one here, it is one of the most popular ones. Verbo estar. Okay, verbo estar. As you notice, estar, it ends with the first type of conjugation, AR. AR. In the previous page, we saw that when it comes to verbs that end with the first type, AR, this is the variation. Falei, estudei, trabalhei. But here, even though estar ends with the first type, it doesn't follow that pattern. Eu estei. No, this is not how it conjugates. It has its own conjugation variations. Eu estive, not eu estei. See? So here it escapes the main rule. So you guys will have to memorize this. Eu estive, tu estiveste, ele esteve, nós estivemos, vós estivestes, eles estiveram. And as you guys know, estar, it is top 10 of verbs that we use in our daily lives. So even though it is an irregular one, you guys will have to memorize it. Okay? There is no place to run. You guys will have to do this. You guys will have to memorize it. So let's read this together. This is past tense. Remember? Pretérito perfeito. Eu estive.
Eu estive.
Yes. Tu estiveste.
Tu estiveste.
Yes. Ele esteve.
Ele esteve.
Yes. Nós estivemos.
Nós estivemos.
Vós estivestes.
Nós estivestes.
Yeah. Nós estivemos.
Nós estivemos.
Sorry, we have seen this already, right? Eles estiveram.
Eles estiveram.
Very good. So here it is the verb estar, which means to be. To be. Remember this. In Portuguese, we have two verbs for to be, which is ser and estar. Okay, estar we use more for location. Okay, estar, you are in a place. Eu estive, I was at the bank. Is that correct? I was at the bank. Or is it I were at the bank? I always get this confused. So I was at the bank. I was at the school.
Okay, the bank. Yeah, I was at the bank.
Yes. So em português, eu estive na escola, eu estive no banco. Eu estive no banco. So you were at a place. Okay, so estar in Portuguese we use more for this sense. When we are talking about ourselves, our looks, we refer to also personality, states of emotional state. It is always temporary, okay? Not a, how do I say, permanent state. It is always temporary state that we use this estar. For example, I am sad. Eu estou triste. You know, to be sad, it is something that is temporary, not permanent. Okay, eu estou triste. Today I'm sad, but tomorrow I may be happy, right? It is something that changes. It is temporary. In Portuguese, we will use estar for these states, emotional states that keeps changing, also places and stuff. Eu estou triste. Eu estou com fome. See, I'm hungry. I'm not always hungry. This is something that keeps changing. Eu estou com fome. I'm hungry. Okay? Eu estou na escola. Right now I am at the school, but later I maybe not. Okay? I may be in another place. Eu estou na escola. Eu estou em casa. And so on. So here, guys, eu estive. It is the past tense. Eu estive na escola. I was at the school. You were at the school. Tu estiveste na escola. Of course, if you opt to use tu. If you already use você, you will use the variation that belongs to ele. Você esteve na escola. You were at the school. Alright? And so on. Here, guys, something that may be tricky or maybe easy, I don't know. This here, eu fui, tu foste, ele foi. This conjugation here, in Portuguese, we use for two different verbs, which are, let me just add this here, ser, okay, which is the other variation of the verb to be, ser, and also ir, okay, which is to go. Okay, is this hard or easy for you guys? Whenever you want to conjugate ser or ir in the past tense, you will use the same conjugation. This is something that I just realized now. Okay, I speak Portuguese my whole life and I just realized this. We use the same variation for to be, okay, ser, and also to go. And here, guys, this ser, which is the second variation of the verb to be in Portuguese, this means permanent state, okay? So you are tall. Your height is something that doesn't change. Of course, we are talking about your grown-up state, right? You are tall. If you are a kid, of course it will change until a certain age. So let's consider you are a grown-up. Your height doesn't change unless someone cuts off your leg. So let's not get to this point, right? So you are tall. In Portuguese, we use this ser. Eu sou. Eu sou alto. Eu sou alto. I am tall. Okay, let's see another something else that doesn't change. Eu sou rico. Yeah, eu sou rico. It may be permanent. Yeah, this is a gray area. If you are a good if you're a good businessman, it may be permanent. In Portuguese, we open this exception. Eu sou rico. Okay, eu sou rico. We only say eu estou rico when you become rich. Yeah, when you become rich, you say eu estou rico. Let's say you won you hit the numbers today, and now your rich state changes. You say eu estou rico because you just found out that you are rich. But yeah, but tomorrow you will not say
Will not be rich again.
yeah, you will not say eu estou rico again. You're already
Okay.
rich. You say eu sou
Yes,
rico.
the money is there.
Yeah. So basically it's this. Ser, it is permanent state. Okay. Eu sou, for example, your skin color. You are black. This is something that doesn't change unless you're Michael Jackson. So let's keep the variations, the exceptions, out of the context. So you are black. In Portuguese, eu sou negro. Okay, eu sou negro. Not eu estou negro. Okay, eu estou negro. Unless you are a white person that you just, use paint on your body. So no exceptions here. If you are talking about your skin color, your actual skin color, eu sou negro. Okay, eu sou negro. I'm black. Eu sou negro. I'm white. Eu sou branco. And so on. Here, guys, it is the past tense. Okay, eu fui. Eu fui. So, getting back to that stage, richness stage. Let's say you were a really bad businessman. You lost all of your money. Now you're not rich anymore, right? You say eu fui rico. I was rich. I was rich. This changed, right? Eu fui rico. Eu fui rico. You cannot say eu fui branco. This doesn't apply to your skin color. Yeah, eu fui rico. Eu fui. Let me say another thing. Eu fui. Yes, this is so hard. Yeah, eu fui rico. Eu fui gordo. Yeah, I was fat. I was fat. Eu fui gordo. And so on. Eu fui. I was. Tu foste. Same thing here. You were rich. Tu foste rico. Tu foste gordo, tu foste magro, you were skinny, you were fat, tu foste. This is the variation. You were. Ok? Ele foi. He was. Nós fomos. We were. We were. Alright? Vós fostes. You were. Plural. E they were. Here, guys. Ir, which means to go. To go. To go. Eu fui, in English will be I went, right? Eu fui, I went to the supermarket. Eu fui ao supermercado. And so on. The pronunciation is the same. So whenever you are conjugating the verb to go in the past tense in English, I went to the supermarket. You went to Australia. This here is the variation that applies for the English English verb. Alright? Are you guys good on this?
Sim, professor.
Okay, so let's just read this because this variation is the same as this one, so we just have to read one time. Everybody. Eu fui.
Eu fui.
Eu fui. Tu foste.
Tu foste.
Tu foste.
Yes. Ele foi.
Ele foi.
Nós fomos.
Nós fomos.
Fomos. Vós fostes.
Vós fostes.
Yes. Eles foram.
Eles foram.
Yes. Quick question to see if you guys, whether you guys are paying attention. If I want to say using você, for example, you went. How do I say this in Portuguese using você? You went.
Foste. Fostes went.
Uh,
You went.
yes, você, it is the pronoun that means you, singular, okay? I'm asking you
Yes.
guys, what if I want to say, you went to the supermarket, for example? You went. In Portuguese, but using você. How do I say this in Portuguese?
It should be the second one. Você foste.
No, no. I
Um,
told you guys here, você usa a variação
Você foi.
yes. Okay? Always remember
Yes.
this rule. Você, singular, okay? You, singular. Always use the variation that belongs to ele, okay? The third person, the third uh, person of the singular, okay? So let me just add this here, sempre, okay? Sempre, and vocês, sempre as well. Sempre usa a variação que pertence a eles. Always use the variation that belongs to eles, them, okay? So the same question here. If I would want to say you, plural, of course, you went, using vocês, the variation will be this one here, the third person of plural, eles. Vocês foram, okay? Vocês foram, vocês estiveram. So, you went to the supermarket. Vocês foram ao supermercado. You, singular, you went to the supermarket. Você foi ao supermercado. I'm going to copy this and also paste it right here so you guys don't forget. Okay? Always remember this rule. Always. Very good. Next, here guys are some a list of words that we use when we are talking about the past. These words here, they also they always we always use them when we are talking about the past. Okay, in the past context. Here we call them marcadores de tempo. Quando aconteceu. It's like time markers because they tell us when something happened. When, okay? Quando aconteceu algo. When something happened. Usamos essas palavras para indicar o passado. We use these words to indicate the past. What are these words? Ontem, yesterday, anteontem, the day before yesterday. Yeah, I believe you guys don't have an English word for this. You guys say the day before yesterday. Is that correct? The day before yesterday. In Portuguese, we say anteontem. For example, today it is Monday, right? Yesterday were Sunday. If I were to talk about Saturday, I would say the day before yesterday, right? In Portuguese, we say anteontem. For example, anteontem eu fui à igreja. I'm talking about the day before yesterday, which is Saturday. Anteontem, in this case, will be Saturday. Anteontem eu fui à igreja. Why anteontem means this? Anteontem means the day before yesterday. Basically because it is the junction of two different words. Antes e ontem. Okay? Antes, ontem. Sorry. Ontem means yesterday. Antes means before. Okay, before. Somewhere in time In the past years, we Brazilians decided to join these two words, and then anteontem was born. Okay, anteontem. Anteontem means the day before yesterday. Anteontem eu fui ao médico. Yeah, the day before yesterday I went to the doctor. Okay, eu fui ao médico. Correct me if you guys have another way of saying this, a better one in English. Feel free to correct me. Alright? So, anteontem eu fui ao médico. Tonight it is Monday. So, anteontem will be Saturday. Saturday I went to the doctor. Anteontem eu fui ao médico. Semana passada. Semana passada means last week. Okay? Last week. Last week. Mês passado, same logic. Last month. Há 2 dias. 2 days ago. No fim de semana. On the weekend. I believe it is in this way. Weekend. Yeah. On the weekend. Ontem à noite. Yesterday. Yeah, night. I believe last night. Yeah, last night will be better. Last night. Yeah, last night will be better because we are not only talking about yesterday, but night of yesterday. In English, you guys say last night, right? So something happened last night. Algo aconteceu ontem à noite. Alright, anteontem. The day before yesterday. Ontem. Yesterday. Yeah. Here we have some example. Eu trabalhei ontem. I worked. I worked yesterday. Yesterday, yeah, yesterday. And then we have fui ao cinema no fim de semana. I went to the movies on the weekends. Is that correct? On the weekend. On the weekend. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I went to the movies on the weekend. Yeah, right here. On the weekend. Right. So questions here? Are you guys good so far? Are you guys still there?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just read
Yes. Okay.
these words together. Ontem,
Ontem.
anteontem,
Anteontem.
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 Very good. Semana passada,
Semana passada.
mês passado,
Mês passada.
mês passado.
Oh, mês passado.
Yeah. Há 2 dias.
Há 2 dias.
Yeah, means 2 days ago. Then, no fim de semana.
No fim de semana.
No fim de semana. And then, ontem à noite.
Ontem à noite.
Very good. And here, guys, eu trabalhei ontem.
Eu trabalhei ontem.
Ontem.
Yes. Fui ao cinema no fim de semana.
Fui ao cinema no fim de semana.
Fui ao cinema.
Fui ao cinema.
Fui ao cinema.
Fui ao cinema.
No. Cinema.
Cinema.
Yes. The stress, it is on the ma. Cinema. All right? Cinema.
Lembra.
Very good. No fim de semana.
No
Fim
fim de
de
semana.
semana.
Very good. Fui ao cinema no fim de semana.
Foi ao cinema.
Cinema.
Fim
No fim de
de
semana.
semana.
Very good. Way better. Next here, guys. Comparisons. Comparações simples no passado. We have this list of words which we can use to compare things that happened in the past. Okay, usadas para comparar experiências. Yes. First one, melhor. Okay, melhor.
Melhor. Melhor.
Yes. Pior.
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 Mais.
Mais.
Menos.
Menos.
Yes, menos means
Mais.
yeah, less. So I can say, for example, foi foi o melhor fim de semana.
Better.
The weekend.
It's not enough.
Okay.
My life was
Yeah.
better at the weekend.
So you guys can understand this?
Yeah.
At the weekend.
Yeah, it's like my life was better at the weekend.
My life was better than minha vida. My life.
Yeah.
So here foi o melhor fim de semana da minha vida. It was the best weekend of
For my life. In my
my
life.
life. Yes. Yeah.
Was
This happens.
best.
This usually happens when the experience.
Is the part of best is melhor, the same thing. The best is fantastic.
Yeah, here it is comparing because it is comparing to the other weekends. Okay, perhaps this phrase doesn't get the context as the activity is suggesting, but the meaning is basically this, because we are comparing weekends of our lives, right? So among all of the weekends that you already had, this one was the better. So it is a comparison still. Foi o melhor fim de semana da minha vida. If I were to use better in Portuguese, let me just show you a better example. Esse, por exemplo, hoje esse foi melhor. Esse dia foi melhor que no, let me use fim de semana as well. Esse fim de semana foi melhor que o outro. See? The word, it is the same. But now the context demands me to use better if I translate this to English, right? If I translate this to English, it will use better now, because now I'm specifying using a word, outro, okay? There on the previous example, there is also a comparison, but the word itself was, how do we say, implicit. It wasn't there, but the idea was there in our minds. We knew that we were talking about another weekend, even though we were not verbalizing it. We were just giving the idea that among all of the weekends that we have already had in the past, that one was the better. Here, on the other hand, we are specifying, okay, we are writing a word that refers to the weekend, outro, which is outro, okay. This here, it is referring to another weekend. That is why, grammarly speaking, here when I translate this to English, it becomes in this way. Sorry, let me just take here. See? But the meaning is the same. On the previous example, were also a comparison. Okay, we say in Portuguese, we say era uma palavra implícita, uma ideia implícita. It was an implied word, implied idea. This is what Google Translating is giving me here. Okay? Implied idea. Even though the word was not there, we had the idea of what we were talking about, what we were discussing. Okay? Basically, it is this. So melhor can be best or better, depending on the construction of the phrase. Here means better. But if I say foi o melhor fim de semana da minha vida, it is best if I try to translate to English, but it's still a comparison. Okay, it was an implied idea. Here, pior means worse. Same thing here. We can use the same phrase. Pior. Esse fim de semana foi pior que o outro. So it was worse than the last one. It was worse than the last one. Yeah. Here, mais. Mais means more. Let me think about an example. Mais. Yeah. Hoje choveu mais que ontem. Very good. And by the way, this is true, right? Hoje choveu mais que ontem. It has rained a lot here today. How do I?
Yes.
So here in English will be it rained more today than yesterday. Yeah. Choveu mais que ontem. And of course I can use the same example. Choveu menos que ontem. And you can see here all of these examples, they are in the past tense. Choveu, okay? Choveu. This is past tense. It rained more than yesterday. It rained less than yesterday. Oh, here are some other examples. O filme foi melhor que eu esperava. It was better than I expected. Esse fim de semana foi pior que o outro. Look, I don't know how. What a coincidence. Esse fim de semana foi pior que o outro. Trabalhei mais ontem, so I worked more. Yesterday. Yes. And then descansei menos semana passada. I rested less in the last week. Yeah, last week. So let's read these examples together. O filme foi melhor que eu esperava.
O filme foi melhor que esperava.
Yeah, here eu, alright? Eu. Very good. Not you. Eu. Okay? Eu. Yes, eu. This way. No, not you. Alright? Always eu. Very good. O filme foi melhor que eu esperava. The movie was better than I expected. Here, esse fim de semana foi pior que o outro. Everybody, esse fim de semana foi pior que o outro.
Esse fim de semana foi pior que o outro.
Yes. So this weekend.
Esse fim de semana foi pior que o outro.
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 Yes. Esse fim de semana foi pior que o outro. Now, trabalhei mais ontem.
Trabalhei mais ontem.
Trabalhei mais ontem. This means I worked more yesterday. So now you guys know how to say this. I worked more yesterday. And then descansei menos semana passada. Descansei menos semana passada.
Descansei menos
Descansei
semana
menos
passada.
semana passada.
Last week.
Descansei.
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 Yes. Descansei menos semana passada.
Descansei menos semana passada.
Yes, I rested last week.
Last week.
Last week. Okay, guys, I think let me see here. What else? Fim de semana. Here, let's read this together. Hoje choveu mais que ontem.
Hoje choveu mais que ontem.
Yes.
Choveu mais?
Choveu mais que ontem.
Ontem choveu mais que ontem.
Hoje choveu mais
Que ontem. And this means this here, okay? It rained more today than yesterday. Yeah. And hoje choveu menos que ontem. Hoje choveu menos que ontem. Here. Hoje choveu menos que ontem. Hoje choveu menos que ontem.
Hoje choveu menos que ontem.
Very good. So let me just add this here. The only thing that changes is less, right? Less.
Less.
Yes, less. Right here. Less. Today than yesterday. Alright, guys. So you guys got questions here on this segment? Are you guys good? No?
It's okay, Professor. We're fine.
Okay, so here I brought you guys a dialogue. I don't think we'll have time to read this tonight, so I will leave this tomorrow. What do you guys say? We will have more time to do this with,
Yeah, we can continue from here tomorrow.
Yeah. So yeah, this is all that we have for tonight. I hope you enjoyed this class, and of course I hope you also understood everything here. In case you guys have any questions, just let me know. Okay, I will bring you the answer tomorrow.
Okay, Professor. Thank you. It was an interesting